So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to join you here at the EIF. My name is Justin Hobbs. I run our technical pre-sales operations across the EMEA region for Zebra Technologies. So the first thing to say is that I am not a policy guy, so please be gentle. In the 25 years that I've been in the industry, I've been very fortunate to work at the convergence of a number of megatrends. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, I was at the convergence of mobility and the internet, with roles at Telefonica and then latterly at Cisco Systems. And then more recently, I've been working with Zebra Technologies at the convergence of mobility again, cloud computing, and this thing called IoT, or the Internet of Things. Zebra is a company you may not be familiar with, so if you'll indulge me, I'll just take a moment to give you a little bit of background about who we are and what we do. We are the market leader in an emerging sector called Enterprise Asset Intelligence. And in the IoT context, the reference architecture that we define our solutions around comes in three parts. Sense, obviously the sensor element of IoT. Analyze, obviously the analytics layer, all of which is completely useless unless you act upon it. So taking that information, analysing it into actionable workflows, and then promoting those workflows via software into the hands of users where they can take effect in real time. From a core product set perspective, I'll just take a moment to explain what Zebra actually make. We are a manufacturer in our own right. Our core product sets rotate around enterprise mobile computing. So think about your phone, but fit for purpose from an industrial perspective in terms of the rugged ergonomics of the device, the ability for it to survive in heavy-duty environments like industrial, inbuilt high-performance data capture, laser barcode scanning, RFID reading capabilities, and a lifecycle management that's consistent with total cost of ownership within the manufacturing sector. So products that are available to buy for 5 years and then have supportability for 3 years beyond end of sale as well. We are a business-to-business company and a business-to-government company. We do not play in the consumer space, just to be really clear. And our heritage is in auto ID. So via acquisition, Zebra is the company that invented the barcode reader, invented barcode printing. And as you all know, barcodes are a collection of black and white stripes, which is why very early on we became known, or the barcode was referred to as a zebra. And that indeed is where the name of the company comes from. We oriented our brand around what people recognized in the industry. So our technology has actually been in use with manufacturers for in excess of 20 years. So the idea of digitalization of manufacturing isn't in fact new. We have presence really throughout the manufacturing cycle, all the way from supply chain through plant floor, delivery operations and field service operations, where we automate workflows for business benefit. I want to give you a couple of examples of where we do that within the manufacturing space today to bring it to life for you. So in Jaguar Land Rover in the UK, they use our real-time locationing systems to be able to identify on the production line where a vehicle is. More importantly, where it's going to be on the production line and when, so that we can enable the provision of the right components to be brought to the production line just at the point when that vehicle is getting there, ensuring it's the right part for a custom build, also ensuring that you don't have over-inventory held at the production point, which obviously there isn't a lot of space to actually do the work in. The second area is, again, in the automotive space. BMW and Porsche are using, again, our real-time locationing systems, but this time to a much more granular level, being able to understand down to 20 centimeters in 3 dimensions where an asset is. And the asset in this case is a power tool, imagine a screwdriver or a torque wrench, being applied in the chassis. Knowing exactly where that tool is in the chassis and its orientation tells you exactly what job that tool is doing at that point in time. That means that we can automatically configure things like torque settings on the device to ensure that there's no operator input required. That removes error, also improves the productivity of the users. The final example I want to give you is a global CPG company, but headquartered here in Europe. And they use approximately 12,000 of our enterprise mobile computing products in their operations globally. Those tools themselves are a critical part of their operations, and this customer wants to understand what's the health, status, performance, location of those assets in real time, so that they can ensure that the workers have the right tools in their hands to use. So now we're getting into this visibility layer of providing real-time visibility into the operation of those devices so that they have complete control over those assets and can make sure that they're in the hands of users, working devices in the hands of users at all times. So that last example starts to highlight the need for real-time visibility across operations and segues nicely into this IoT architecture, this construct, where these productivity tools, in fact, in their own right, are sensors. They're sensors in terms of the performance at the edge of the network. Being able to see how these devices are performing, being able to understand how the device is being used with motion sensing technology, and combining that with application level information gives true insight into what's happening at a distributed level within the operation. Gathering that data into a data services platform that's available in real time is what we have done by the introduction of our Savannah Platform. So the Savannah Platform gathers data from all of the assets that we make, mobile computers, RFID tags, printers, other assets, gathers that and keeps it in a real-time database that you can trend and extract from, as well as get real-time access to. And we abstract the events that that information is gathering through APIs for third-party applications and third-party systems to be able to consume in the bigger landscape of IoT, because of course what we do is just one element of the sensing network that exists within that. In 2017, we commissioned a manufacturing vision survey, and there were a couple of interesting things that came out of that. The survey itself was 1,100 executives globally. 27% of those executives were right here in the EMEA region. And it shows us that the rate of investment in digitization of manufacturing is set to increase quite dramatically. We saw that 23% of the respondees, as part of their plant floor processes, are going to increase from the average of about 5 stage gates within the process. So if you break the manufacturing process into phases, having validation points is important to be able to ensure quality, and if there is a problem as part of the manufacturing process, understand where the point of failure is and remedy it. So getting more granular in that production process is a key trend. So 23% of respondees said within 5 years they plan to move to more than 10 gates within that process, and more than doubling. 50% of respondees indicated that they expect to have made investments in either radio frequency identification or real-time locationing systems as part of their plant floor operations. And 46% said that visibility into those operations, again, coming back to that abstraction platform, into operations will support their growth ambitions. So to close, I want to just give you some thoughts around the emerging technology scene as well. So these aren't technologies that are necessarily in wide-scale deployment today, but which we as a company are investigating and investing in. So today, manufacturers use wearable technology in the form of handheld computers that are mounted on the wrist with ring scanning technology that allows hands-free operation, the ability to be able to pick and select without having to pick up and put down a physical device. We see that moving towards head-up display technology, investments in monocular and binocular head-up display technology, and the use of augmented reality on the plant floor to guide operations is a trend that we see emerging. Secondly, today, voice-directed picking, the ability to be able to give instructions of what products to pick based on audio instruction and then give audio feedback to confirm, is in widespread use. We see that moving towards natural language processing. Think of Alexa, but for a manufacturing environment where you can query your enterprise resource platforms in a context-specific way and get the results that you need audibly. Video analytics we see playing an increasing role, particularly in areas like loading operations for delivery phase, using video analytics to be able to see in real time into the back of a trailer and understand how full is it, do you need to put extra resources on it to get it out in time, how well is it being stacked in terms of efficiency. 30% of every transport item that you see go around the countries is air. That's not particularly efficient. Health and safety. The bend and lift that the user is actually demonstrating, is that the right way, or do they need training on that? And how are the boxes actually being stacked? Are they being built in a stable structure or something that's going to topple over and cause damage during transit? So video analytics in that phase of the operation is another trend. And the final one, which is a personal favourite of mine just because it's cool, is a demonstration that we've just done with Daimler, where we are using a combination of drone technology in conjunction with our sensing technology to do automated inventory counts. So imagine a warehouse environment with racks stacked high with inventory. A drone is using a real-time locationing system to constantly communicate back its location in 3 dimensions in the warehouse. That's the heart of the automated navigation system. The drone has a passive RFID reader underneath it, so as it's going over the racks, it's identifying what category of asset it's currently hovering over, and it then has a depth camera. It knows the physical attributes of that piece of inventory. It can tell how high that stack is, how many items are in it. So just some thoughts to leave you with in terms of emerging tech. I hope you found that useful. Enjoy your lunch and thank you.